Hi. Today, I'm going to tell you why a medical device startup would need an electronic document management system and how they go about using one. Let's say Anna and Mark are the founders of a growing medical device software startup. They know all about the medical device regulations for their product as well as for their company. Regulations like MDR, ISO 13485, ISO 14901, IC 62304, and so on. But to build a quality management system quickly, they start by purchasing a ready-made QMS package for the document templates from a consultant. This is a great starting point for compliance. Now they only need to tailor this documentation content to reflect their own processes that they have in-house. They were using Google Drive for the first document, and it worked really nicely as long as they were just the two of them. But recently, they got external funding and they hired 3 more people to their team. The newly created positions were also assigned specific roles inside the quality management system. And that meant that they needed to update a number of documents to reflect those changes. Google Drive then turned out to be quite frustrating because the team couldn't find the latest document, like the latest version of the risk management SOP that they all should follow in the development. They couldn't find this in their messily structured folder system, and they also needed to use a separate system to sign documents, and of course all that lacked an audit trail. That is when they realized that managing control documents manually or across shared drives quickly becomes quite a mess. For medical device companies, document control isn't really optional. It is the backbone of compliance. What is a proper electronic document management system, you might wonder? A compliant document management system should ensure that every change is tracked, every document has an owner, and approval history is captured automatically, creating a full audit trail of who did what when. No files can be lost, no uncontrolled versions should exist, and therefore you are ready for an audit whenever required. Since Anna and Mark's team was already using the Confluence Cloud for the documentation internally, it made sense for them to keep their eQMS also in this tool. Because why switch between multiple platforms when you could do all of that in one place where your product documentation already is? But Confluence itself is not compliant. It doesn't have document versioning, approval workflows, and traceability to meet medical device requirements. That is when Mark and Anna were looking for a compliant document management system on Confluence Cloud and discovered SoftComply Document Manager. It is designed for regulated industries. SoftComply Document Manager is the first and the only out-of-the-box compliant document control solution on Confluence Cloud today. So what Anna and Mark did next was that the package that they bought for eQMS templates, they imported all that into Confluence Cloud, where they started customizing the templates with the editor that Confluence had, filling their process descriptions in the SOPs to match how their startup actually works. Once the first SOPs were drafted, it was time for reviewing and approval. So let's look into how Document Manager can do that. Document Manager comes with a dedicated dashboard that shows every activity that everybody needs to take that has been assigned to people. And you have a very familiar folder structure here that you won't then miss from a shared drive system. And in here, Anna and Mark had already imported all the SOPs that they bought. And for our purposes, let's look into device lifecycle SOP. And we can see that this is in a draft version here. Let's check it in Confluence as well. As always, when you have purchased your templates, you need to customize them for your own purposes, for your own processes that you have in place. Device lifecycle SOP is the center of any medical device development documentation. Here you describe the different phases of the life of a device, from project initiation to discontinuation of the device, and all the steps that you take in the development. It starts with the responsibilities, who is doing what when, the different project phases of the device development, and so on and so forth. Let's say now that Anna and Mark have drafted that, and now it's time to route this document for approval. You can route the document here, or what you can do is that if you have done the same thing for 3 most important documents, you can create an activity to approve 3 first documents. Let's name this activity Approving First SOPs. We then can choose the workflow that we want to use for this. A simple review and approve workflow for these SOPs would work fine for us. And the description is bulk, review, and approve of our first 3 keys. We create that activity, and now we can add documents in this. So as we said before, we can approve all 3 documents at the same go. So let's say, first of all, we want to add document control SOP. This is really core of all the SOPs that we have. Let's then add device lifecycle 1 that we just saw, and let's also put risk management because that is also a very important SOP for us. And we have added all 3 here into this particular lifecycle, and we can now launch this for review. Oh, we have forgotten to add people here. We can go back to tasks, and we see that we have 2 tasks for this activity. We have review documents and approve documents, but now we need to assign people who are going to do that task. So let's assign myself here and here as well. So I can easily show how you can do this. And now we are ready to launch it. And we have launched it. And as a result of having assigned myself some activities, I can see these tasks in the Document Manager dashboard as assigned tasks to me. So I'm going to open that task and see that I need to review these documents. I can go to the document tab and see what these documents are. I can actually go and check these documents. I can add notes. Since I've already reviewed everything, I can say review completed and confirm this step. And after I have done the completion information, I can confirm that I have reviewed all these 3 documents that were assigned for me to review. So now that I have reviewed these documents, I can go to the dashboard. I can see that I have reviewed these documents. Approving first 3 SOPs is active in approval state, which means that I now need to approve these 3 documents. And in here, I see that these require an e-signature. Document Manager uses TOTP authenticators. You can use Google Authenticator or Microsoft Authenticator as you please. I'm ready to approve the documents. And for approval, I now need to open my mobile app for Authenticator. So let's open the Authenticator and find the right app and add the token here. And now I have approved these 3 documents and I can now release them. So as they were approved, they are not yet released for everybody. And now when I release these documents, they are public and the entire organization should follow them in their activities. So now I go back to the dashboard and I can see that I have released these documents and I can check the device lifecycle. The document has now been released. I cannot edit it anymore. It is completely locked for me for editing. And if I want to change it, I have to make a new draft of it. So this is how Mark and Anna used the Document Manager for approving their first 3 SOPs. They used the workflow that is already out of the box, the review and approve workflow that is the most simple one. When they grow, they might need more complex workflows, and then they would build some from scratch. And that's how Anna and Mark began their document control journey in Confluence Cloud, building compliant, efficient, and audit-ready QMS without leaving their favorite tool. If you want to learn more how you can use Document Manager for your controlled documents inside Confluence, you can try out the SoftComply Document Manager for a month for free, or you can schedule a call with our team and we can walk you through how you can benefit from this document management system in Confluence Cloud. Next week, we will take a deeper look into document approval workflows, how to streamline reviews and signatures right inside Confluence. Thank you for watching and hope to see you next week. Bye-bye.